I've tasted so many dosas, but it's always nice when that water goes on the hanchu. You know that that hanchu is getting ready to receive that dosa. Huh?
Like dosa also benne male. Butter rain.
So dosa mele benne do male aagtarante, huh? It's been ages since I've tasted a Davanagere Benne Dosae. And so when I heard that they had the real deal out here in Bengaluru with the Davanagere Benne and also being cooked over that saude ole, I was very curious, very excited to taste it. He said Benne to male, finally Benne to flood. That is what I'm tasting in my mouth. Davanagere Dosae, new owner?
Yes, sir.
Your name is
Viresh.
Viresh. And the true mark of a Davanagere Benne Dosae is saude ole.
ಹೌದು ಸರ್, ನಮ್ದು ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್.
The land of Benne Dosae.
ಹೌದು. ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ವಿಜಯ್ ಕುಮಾರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ 1985 ಕೆಂಚಮ್ಮ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆ ದೋಸೆ ಹೋಟೆಲ್ ಅದಾಗಿದೆ ಇಡೀ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ.
Mr. Vijay Kumar. ಅವರು ಬಂದದ್ದು ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಯಿಂದ.
ಹೌದೌದು.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವರು ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ದೋಸೆ ರೀತಿ.
ಹೌದೌದು.
that's interesting.
ಬ್ರದರ್ IT ಇದರಲ್ಲಿದೆ, ಡೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಮುಂಚೆ ಕರಾಟೆ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಇದ್ದೆ.
ಏನು?
ಕರಾಟೆ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್.
ಕರಾಟೆ, ಮಾರ್ಷಲ್ ಆರ್ಟ್ಸ್.
I am also karate black belt second dan.
Oh my goodness, I have to be careful.
ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಬಿಡಬಾರ್ದು, ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬಿಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ.
How nice is that? I had put out a tweet the other day. I said, what are the most underrated dosas in Bengaluru? ಜನರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ದೋಸೆ ಆಫ್ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ನೀವು. That's the reason why I've arrived here. And it's interesting to learn that his father, he says, began the Davanagere Benne Dosae tradition in Bengaluru. Paddu sa ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? Wonderful.
thatte idli ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ದೋಸೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ?
ನಾನು ಮೇನ್ ಶೆಫ್.
ನೀವು ಮೇನ್ ಶೆಫ್. ಇದು ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಆಯ್ತು ಇದು ಜಾಗ?
ಸರ್ ಇದು 2 years ಆಯ್ತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬ್ರಾಂಡ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ವರ್ತೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಿದೆ. ಅದೇ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಇವಾಗ HSR ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ ಇದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಓಡ್ತಾ ತಂದೆ.
ಸೊ ಇದು ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಸೊ ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ?
ಸರ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ಓಪನ್.
I've tasted so many dosas, but it's always nice when that water goes on the hanchu. You know that that hanchu is getting ready to receive that dosa. So ಏನು ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಇದೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಹಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ?
ಸರ್ ಹಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವೇ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ತರಿಸಲ್ಲ. ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೈದಾ ಸಾಲ್ಟ್ ಗೀಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಿ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವೇ. ಇದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲ 1 time ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮುಗೀತು ಒನ್ ಡೇಗೆ. ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಮತ್ತೆ 2 time ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಪರ್ ಡೇಗೆ.
ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ?
ಎಸ್.
So a character of that Davangere Benne Dosae hittu is that it pours like water.
Pure village butter.
ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇದು?
ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಯಿಂದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ವೀಕ್ಲಿ 2 time ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಪರ್ ಕಿಲೋ 700 rupees per kilo ಟುಡೇ.
ಸಾಲ್ಟೆಡ್ ಅನ್ಸಾಲ್ಟೆಡ್?
ಅನ್ಸಾಲ್ಟೆಡ್ ಸರ್.
ಅನ್ಸಾಲ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬಟರ್.
ಹಳ್ಳಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಬರೋದು. ಅರ್ಧ kg 1 kg ಪ್ಯೂರ್ ನಾಟಿ ಬಟರ್. ಲೈಕ್ ದೋಸಾ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆ ಮಳೆ. ಬಟರ್ ರೈನ್.
ಸೊ ದೋಸೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆದು ಮಳೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರಂತೆ. ಸೊ ಬೋತ್ ಸೈಡ್ಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆ?
ಹೌದು ಸರ್, 2 times ಬೆಣ್ಣೆ ವಿತ್ ಫುಲ್ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಪಿ.
ಫುಲ್ ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಪಿ. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಟರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ರೈಸು, ಮಂಡಕ್ಕಿ,
ಮಂಡಕ್ಕಿ,
ಉದ್ದು,
ಹೌದು, ಮೈದಾ, ಮೆಂತೆ.
ಮೈದಾ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ?
ಮೈದಾ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು 20 kgಗೆ ಒಂದು 6 ಕಿಲೋ. 6
ಕಿಲೋ ಮೈದಾ. ಮಂಡಕ್ಕಿ
ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು 7 liters ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ.
7 liters ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಎಸ್.
ಮೆಂತೆ ಏನು 2 ಮುಷ್ಟಿ? 200
grams. ಮಿಸ್ಟಿ ಕೆಲವೊಬ್ರು ಚಿಕ್ಕದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ದೊಡ್ಡದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಲೆಕ್ಕಾರೆ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾರು ಹಾಕಿದ್ರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
I like Viresh's approach. I think his approach is as systematic as when he was doing his karate. Karate is bada specific, systematic ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ.
ಇದೆ ಸರ್. ಬಟರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಖಾಲಿ.
ಬಟರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಖಾಲಿ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪುಡಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ?
ಪುಡಿ ಇದು ನಾನೇ ರೆಡಿ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು 30 items ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಒಳಗೆ. 30.
ಸೊ ಇದು ಬೇಸ್ ಏನು ಚೆನ್ನದಲ್ಲ?
ಚೆನ್ನದಲ್ಲ, ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು 12-13 ದಾಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ.
That dosa is oozing butter. ಬೆಣ್ಣೆದು ಮಳೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ಮಳೆ ಕಾಲ, ಫ್ಲಡ್ ಕೂಡ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಎಂತದೇನು ಚಟ್ನಿ ಅದು?
ಅದು ರೆಡ್ ಚಟ್ನಿ ವಿತ್ ಬಟರ್ ಮಸಾಲಾ ದೋಸಾ. ದಟ್ ಒನ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಟರ್ ಮಸಾಲಾ.
ಬಟರ್ ಮಸಾಲಾ ಕೆಂಪು
ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಸ್ಪೈಸಿ.
ಲಿಟಲ್ ಸ್ಪೈಸಿ.
Yeah.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆ ದೋಸೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಖಾಲಿ ದೋಸೆ
ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇರೋದು. ಹೌದು.
ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈ ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷನಲ್ ತಕ್ಕನಂಗೆ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ.
ಓಕೆ, ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್.
ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಲೆ, ಶೇಂಗಾ, ಒಣಮೆಣಸಿನ್ಕಾಯಿ, ಜೀರಿಗೆ, ಬೆಳ್ಳುಳ್ಳಿ, ಶುಂಠಿ, ಕೊತ್ತಂಬರಿ, ಪುದೀನ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸಾಲ್ಟ್, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹುಣಸೆ ಹಣ್ಣು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಅಡಾಪ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಹೌದು. ದೋಸೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೇಮ್ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಅಷ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ.
ಕಾಯಿ ಚಟ್ನಿ
ಅಂಡ್ ವೈಟ್ ಪಲ್ಯ.
ಕಾಯಿ ಚಟ್ನಿ ಅದರೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಮೆಣಸಿನಕಾಯಿ.
ಮೆಣಸಿನಕಾಯಿ, ಕಾಯಿ ಚಟ್ನಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಏಲಕ್ಕಿ.
ದೇ ಪುಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಕಾರ್ಡಮಮ್ ಇನ್ ದಟ್. ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅದು ನೀವು ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಚಿಲ್ಲಿ ಸುರು ಬಾಯ್ಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ಹೌದೌದು.
ಬಾಯ್ಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ?
ಹೌದೌದು.
ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ದೆನ್ ದೇರ್ಸ್ ದ ಪಲ್ಯ. ಸೊ ಪಲ್ಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀ ಪೊಟೇಟೊ, ಅನಿಯನ್, ಸಾಲ್ಟ್
ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
ಅನಿಯನ್ ಸುರು ಬೇಯಿಸ್ತೀರಾ?
ಬೇಯಿಸ್ತೀವಿ.
ಪೊಟೇಟೊ ಬಾಯ್ಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ಹೌದೌದು.
There's some butter too on that paddu. ಕರಾಟೆಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಿ?
ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 12 years.
ಸೊ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನಿತ್ತು? ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಡಿಫೆನ್ಸ್
ನಾನು ಟ್ರೈನಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಾನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು. ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇದು ಬ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಒಂದು ಬೆಳೆಸಬೇಕಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಶಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಬಟ್ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ನನ್ನ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ.
ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್. ಐ ರಿಯಲಿ ಲೈಕ್ ವಿರೇಶ's approach. He's committed 12 years to practicing karate. But when his father said we have to take this tradition forward, he gave that up, put it on the side, and he's continuing this. So his older brother is in the IT space like most people in Bengaluru are.
He's come also Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, he comes to help you?
Yeah.
ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಹೆಸರೇನು?
ಸಂಜು ಪಟೇಲ್.
ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್. ಈಗ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ದೋಸಾ. ನಮ್ಮ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನೀವು ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆ ದೋಸಾ.
Davangere Benne Dosae. So we'll first do a Davangere Benne Dosae, and after that we will do one of his Bengaluru variations.
Yeah. You just one piece special kali.
Special kali.
Yes.
Fantastic. We've come, of course, at about 12 o'clock in the afternoon when he's just getting ready to close. But if you come early in the morning, there's a rush, and I'm told on weekends you have a long wait to get your hand on one of these dosas. He says there's a male of benne, and I can see that.
Yeah.
I love the manner in which all that butter is sizzling on the surface of that dosa. That's a dosa that looks extremely scrumptious and also soft irutte.
Yeah, soft with crispy.
Soft with crispy. That's the character of the Davanagere Benne Dosae. Well, I can't wait to tuck into this dosa. It's been ages since I've tasted a Davanagere Benne Dosae. And so when I heard that they had the real deal out here in Bengaluru with the Davanagere Benne and also being cooked over that saude ole, I was very curious, very excited to taste it. And the structure of the dosa is such that it's got that scrumptiously crispy sort of an exterior, and it seems rather soft on the inside. The palya is not in the dosa on the side, so therefore you can go into this dosa any which way you like. All that butter is oozing out of the dosa onto my fingers. He said benne to male, finally benne to flood. That is what I'm tasting in my mouth. The dosa is crispy, there's a bit of softness to it, and then that waterfall of butter. That butter also at a certain level helps moisten that dosa. There's also a hint of tartness that I'm tasting in that dosa somewhere, and I think that's where that palya will come in handy. That alugade palya with some onions. That palya is soft, creamy, almost mousse-like in its texture. All that you bite on once in a while is the softness of the translucent onions. Delicious. So idralli bari potato, onion, salt.
Yeah.
The palya is mellow, but I think it's this chutney that will prove to be that spicy. Boom. I can taste the spike of that green chili heat. So what they do typically is that they boil the chilies and then they crush it with the coconut. And I can also taste somewhere in there the scent of the cardamom. So good. Super ಇದೆ ರೀ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಚಟ್ನಿ ಕೂಡ.
ಸರ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೈ ಫಾದರ್ ಸರ್.
ಓ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಮಿಸ್ಟರ್ ವಿಜಯ್ ಕುಮಾರ್? ನಾನು ಸುಮಾರು ದೋಸೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಆ ದಿವಸ ಟ್ವಿಟರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೆ, ನಾನು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಜನರು ಹೇಳಿದರು ಇದು. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ನಾನು ಬಂದೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಬಂದದ್ದು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು?
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ 95 ಕೆಚ್ಚಂಬ ಮೆಜೆಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೋಸೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಹಾಂ, ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್. ನನಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಖುಷಿ ಆಯಿತು ಕೇಳಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಮಗ ಕೂಡ
ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಪಡ್ಡು ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೇಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಹಾಕಕ್ಕೆ.
ಹಾಂ, ಓ ಮಿಸಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ
4 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ.
ಅಮ್ಮ ಪಡ್ಡು ಈವ್ನಿಂಗ್.
ಸೊ ಅದು ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಸಿಕ್ಕತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಪಡ್ಡುವಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ?
ಮಸಾಲ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
ಈರುಳ್ಳಿ, ಮೆಣಸಿನ್ಕಾಯಿ, ಕರಿಪತ್ತ, ಜೀರಾ, ಕಡಲೆಬೇಳೆ ಹಾಕಿ.
ಅಂದರೆ ನಾನು ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ದೋಸೆ. ಇದು ಭಾಳ ವೆರಿ ಟ್ರೂ ಇದೆ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಸ್ಟೈಲಿಗೆ.
ಎಲ್ಲ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕಸ್ಟಮರೇ. ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಸೊನ್ನೆ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ.
Quality and quantity and cleanings, most important also cleanings.
I like the manner in which that porous dosa, already brimming with that butter, still manages to absorb within its pores a generous amount of that chutney, that spicy chutney. That is so good. You know, when I set out, I didn't know what to expect, you know, because there is also something to the soil, the air of Davangere, the water of Davangere, and all that too makes a difference. So I was expecting a good dosa because I thought a lot of people had recommended, but what I'm tasting here is as close to the real deal that I've tasted in Davangere. That's a complete bite with the mellow creaminess of that palya, the slight gentle crunch of that onion, and the spiciness of that coconut green chili chutney. Somewhere at the very end, you can taste the scent of the cardamom. Chutney sikade ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ? Thank you. Now I'm biting into the parts which are extra crunchy. So you have different levels of crispiness. So what's dark is almost biscuity crunchy, and then you have some of the deeper brown spots which have crispness, and the light spot is where you find the softness of that dosa. This is absolutely a great find on a Wednesday noon here in Namma, Bengaluru. So good. ಅದು ಸೂಪರ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಈಗ ಏನು ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ?
ಬಟರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಖಾಲಿ.
ಬಟರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಖಾಲಿ. ಸೊ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ
ಕ್ರಿಸ್ಪಿ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೇಲ್ಗಡೆ ಪೌಡರ್ ಬಟ್ ಟಾಪಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ಪೌಡರ್.
ಟಾಪಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೌಡರ್. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಚಟ್ನಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ?
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಚಟ್ನಿ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಟರ್ ಮಸಾಲ.
ಸೊ ದ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಖಾಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ದ ಪುಡಿ and the butter masala has the masale. Kempu masale.
Yes.
I like the manner in which that Benne Dosae batter flows onto that hanchu. It's almost like water. That is the butter masala.
Butter special kali. It comes 2 piece, small. Topping on red masala.
That is the red masale.
Yeah.
I know these are guys who are traditional when it comes to dosa because they refer to it as the masale. The masale in a masala dosa is that masale. Palya alla.
Palya, yes.
Palya bere. But when you say true masala dosa, adralli idu masale irbeku.
Yeah.
Kempu chutney irbeku.
ಹೌದು. Butter special kali. Topping on powder. It's one made.
So that is the butter pudi, this is the butter masale. Idralli ನೀವು ಪಲ್ಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಾಕ್ತೀರಾ?
ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಪಲ್ಯ.
So like a masala dosa.
Yeah. butter special kali.
It's truly one of those places where, having tasted the first dosa, I can't wait to dive into the second and the third. Well, I'm wondering what to begin with first. Whether I begin with that butter masala dosa, or should I begin with that butter khaali special dosa. So this one has the pudi that they make at home. He says there's some 20-30 ingredients that go into its making, including a combination of various lentils. And of course that's served with the palya and also with the chutney. And this one has a kempu chutney, which I think is quite similar to the traditional kempu chutney that goes into the making of a masala dosa. So this is their version of a masala dosa with, of course, the white palya. I think we're going to make a beginning with that special khaali dosa, the one with the pudi. So typically when you buy this, when you order this here, it comes in a set of 2. But because I'm tasting multiple dosas, I've just got one. I can taste somewhere in there the earthiness of some lentils. I think there's also a bit of cumin. There's really jeerige there. But there's coriander kuda. So I'm tasting somewhere a bit of the flavor of some jeerige that goes in. I'm just trying to understand that pudi dosa a little better. In the earlier plain benne dosa, that dosa was oozing butter. In this too, there's enough butter that's gone in, but because it's got that pudi has soaked up all that butter, and therefore it's not as buttery as the previous dosa. Somewhere in there, I think I'm also tasting a bit of fenugreek. I'm not sure. Idralli mente hogate ya? I think what I want to do is next savor it with some of that kai chutney.
See a lot of your programs.
Thank you, sir.
I want to go to a few places.
Okay.
See you enjoy the food.
What's your name?
I'm Ganesh.
Thank you, Mr. Ganesh. That pudi combined with that chutney is now double spicy. I thought I found that chutney to be spicy in the first bite, but now, because it's also got the roasted spices and also some chilies in this pudi, that spiciness has taken on a whole new level. And I think you certainly need some of that palya just to tone things down. That palya certainly provides some relief. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಣಸಿನಕಾಯಿ ಏನು ಮನ್ಕಟ್ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಬೇರೆ ಹಾಕಲ್ಲ? ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಪೈಸ್ ಇದೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಲ್ಲ? Well, I'm going to park that whatever little remains of that benne special khaali dosa aside and focus now on this benne masala dosa. A bite with the dosa, the palya, the masala that's in there, and all that benne. I can definitely feel this to have a little more buttery fervor as opposed to this dosa. But I'm also tasting, apart from that butteriness, the flavor that comes from some garlic. I want to taste that dosa just with the masala, with that kempu masala. Definitely plenty of garlic that I'm tasting in that. And I think what happens when you taste the Benne Dosae, the Davangere Benne Dosae, the original dosa, there you're tasting all elements of that Davangere Dosae tradition in its glory. Be it the butter that is poured liberally, like Viresh says, in a rainfall over that dosa as it's being roasted, or the texture of the dosa which varies from the soft to the crisp to the biscuity crunch, and also the flavor characteristics of both the chutney and the palya. In the chutney, you've got the coconut, you've got the green chilies, and then the whiff of cardamom. The palya is rather austere in comparison, relying only on the comforting starchy flavors of the potato and a bit of the flavor that comes from the onions that have been cooked, boiled, and then mashed into the palya along with some salt. The special dosas are interesting, no doubt, but I think when you begin here, first to understand what a Davanagere Benne Dosae is all about, if you've never tasted one, first order only the regular, normal Davangere Benne Dosae. I love the crunchy texture of that dosa when combined with that chutney. I love that play of textures between the softness, the crispiness of the dosa, the moist, very wet crunch of the coconut bearing that chili. Delicious. The good thing when you have 2 plates of dosa, if you run out of chutney on one, you have the second plate with the chutney as well. This has been such a delicious dosa find. I walked in impromptu, unannounced. I didn't know what to expect except for the fact that some people had recommended this. But having visited and having tasted 3 of their dosas, the Davanagere Benne Dosae, the Benne Kali special dosa, and also that Benne masala dosa, I can definitely tell you one thing, that if you love your dosa, especially the ones that are laden with butter, Dosa of Davangere is certainly worth a visit. In fact, I would even go as far to say that this must be on your must-try dosa list when you're here in Namma ooru, Bengaluru. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, stay strong, and happy eating. So ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮದು 3 ದೋಸೆ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
ನಿಮ್ಮದು ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆ ದೋಸೆ ಅದ್ಭುತ ಇದೆ. ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಸರ್.
ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್.
ಒಂದು 30 ವರ್ಷ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಸುಮಾರು ಹೋಟ್ಲು.
ಸೊ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಇದು ಆಯಿತು ಬೆಣ್ಣೆ ದೋಸೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಆ ಥರ?
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ನಾನು ಕೆಲಸಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೆ ಕೆಂಚಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿ.
ಹಾಂ.
ಅದು ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವೇ ಒಂದು ಶಾಪ್ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಚಾಮರಾಜಪೇಟೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್. ದೋಸೆ ಮನೆ
ಸೊ
ಕಾರ್ನರ್.
ಅವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಏಜ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು ಸರ್?
ನನ್ನ ಏಜ್ ಬಂದು 21 ಇರ್ಬೋದು.
21.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಚಾಮರಾಜಪೇಟೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಶಿಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ, ವಿಜಯನಗರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ.
ಹಾಂ.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇವಾಗ ಬಂದು JP ನಗರ ಇಂದಿರಾ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಸರ್ಕಲ್.
ಸರ್ ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹೇಳಿ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ನಲ್ಲಿ.
ಖಂಡಿತ.
ಸೊ ಯಾಕೆ ಜನರು ಇಷ್ಟು ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆ ದೋಸೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಾರೆ?
ಲೈವ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಕಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಡೈಲಿ ಅದು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ ಡೈಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಅಕ್ಕಿ ಅದಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬಿಜಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಿರೋ ಅದು ಫ್ರೈ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಹಂಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು
ಮಾಡೋದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ? ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಕಳ್ತದ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳ್ತದ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ದಾವಣಗೆರೆ ಕಲ್ತು.
ದಾವಣಗೆರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ?
ನಮ್ಮದು ಸಹನಾ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆ ನಾವು ಸ್ವಂತ ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಅವಾಗ.
ಸಹನಾ ಬೆಣ್ಣೆ?
ಹೌದು. ಸುಮಾರು 95 ಅಲ್ಲಿ
ನೀವು ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು?
ಹೌದು.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಬಂದ್ರಿ?
ಹೌದು.
ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್, ಸೂಪರ್.
ಖಂಡಿತ ಸರ್,
ಸೂಪರ್,
ಖಂಡಿತ, ಧನ್ಯವಾದ,
ಫ್ಯಾಂಟಾಸ್ಟಿಕ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
So 4 benne doses, the khaali dosa, the masala dosa, and also a plate of paddu, which I almost forgot, is all for rupees 470. Thank you very much. I almost forgot to taste the paddu. Idu same hitta?
ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೇಮ್ ನಮ್ದು ಉದ್ದು ಅಕ್ಕಿ
ಆಮೇಲೆ
ಕಡಲೆಬೇಳೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ,
ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ನೆಸ್ ಬರೋಕ್ಕೆ.
ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಸರ್, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಹಂಚಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದೊಂದೊಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಇದು ಹಂಚು
ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೇ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಇದು ಇರೋ ಚಾರ್ಕೋಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಒಳಗೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಿ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ದೋಸೆ ಹಾಕೋಬೇಕು.
ಕುಕಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಓವರ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಸಿ, ಬಟ್ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಮೇಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಓವರ್ ಅ ವುಡ್ ಫೈರ್, as the wood burns, the heat on the surface of that pan changes. So adu ಒಂದು ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
ಹೌದು.
So it's not like if you're used to cooking on a gas, you can immediately start cooking on wood fire. You have to understand how that wood burns. You have to understand how that wood impacts the temperature of that tawa, and that takes years.
ನೋಡಿ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು, ನೀರು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಬರೀ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. 30 ವರ್ಷದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್. ನಿಮ್ದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ?
ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು 8 years.
8 years. Wonderful. What's nice here is that as he places that dosa batter in there, the butter which was there at the bottom of the bowl now rises to the top. Well, I just saw some idli come out. Although I've done with my dosa, that idli looks very soft. So there was some benne that went in the paddu mold before the dosa hittu was poured in, and once it's cooked, once he turns it, again there's some more butter that goes in.
Yeah.
That's a idli that is super soft. There's of course some of the benne that seeped into that idli a bit. It's not worked its way all the way through as in the dosa because the idli is of course thicker. But I'm sure I'm going to be rewarded. Greeted by some of that benne. The idli is very soft. And the sort that cannot manage to hold its weight. It's as soft and fragile as that. What I like also is the flavor of the idli. It's not at all sour in the least and bears with it the flavor of the butter. I think if you want to make things interesting, that's where that chutney, that shenga chutney, comes into play. I can taste the shenga. There's a bit of tamarind I think that goes into it. The bite of the red chili. So idu chutney ge kuda ogarne illa. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಣಸೆ ಹಣ್ಣು ಇದೆ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾಯಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಹೌದು, ಕಾಯಿ very light.
There's also a bit of coconut in that chutney. That chutney is quite tasty. Now with some coconut chutney. This chutney pulls in a very different direction. When I tasted that shenga chutney, I could taste more of the spicing, the warmth that comes from the red chilies, and also because the shenga has a very strong flavor to it, and of course a bit of the tartness that comes from the hunse hannu, a little bit of the granular texture of the coconut. The shenga chutney is a chutney that felt rather strong, but this chutney now, the coconut chutney in comparison, seems rather mild. When I tasted it initially with the dosa, I thought it was very spicy, but out here, because it follows the shenga chutney, that coconut chutney behaves. It doesn't assert its spiciness too much. I think that's also the interesting thing when you're tasting dishes like these. You know, it may be very simple idli served with two chutneys, but as you explore the idli by itself, as you taste the idli with the shenga chutney, and then follow it with the idli and the coconut chutney, you will taste those nuances, those distinct differences in flavors, which is what keeps that plate exciting as you go for it bite after bite. Let's now taste both the shenga and the coconut chutney in this bite. The shenga chutney definitely tells that coconut chutney to behave. I think I also want to work my way to one of the paddus. I don't think I'm going to taste all of them while it is still warm. The name of the shop is Dose of Davangere, but it could quite easily be Dose of Davanagere Benne Dosae, because that's what you're tasting in every dish that you place in your mouth. Even out here, what you're tasting first is the richness that comes from the butter. And then of course, the onions, the savory crunch of the onion. And if you want a little more flavor, well, that's where that shenga chutney comes into play. Again, a dish that I certainly think you can try when you come here with a large appetite. I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Gourmet on the Road. I thought it would be short, but turned out to be slightly longer because such was the nature of the food that I encountered. See you on the next one. Bye. If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page. You could pledge a nominal sum and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As and a lot more. You could support us on our Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and leave a comment below. Happy eating!